I'm Scott, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about this extraordinary movie and this extraordinary performance. So let's welcome Jesse Plemons. Oh man, this is a nice full audience. How incredible is this movie? So I just sort of, I was really blown away by this movie and particularly by your performance, Jesse. And something that I've always, there's been something for me in my work since I was like 12 years old doing plays in junior high school, all the way up till now, something that I always have to confront is trying not to judge the characters I play, right? Because I feel like no matter what, if you end up making judgments on the character, it ends up being a photocopy. It creates distance between you and the character. You can still hit the story points and the movie or TV show or play or whatever it is will function, but there's going to be distance. There's going to be a generation lost. And sometimes that's more difficult than other times. But I feel like something I've always loved about your work is the way you play these characters and you don't judge them at all, whether it's Landry in Friday Night Lights, or Todd in Breaking Bad, or George in Power of the Dog, or Teddy in this movie. There's no judgment, and so we're able to get sucked right in with you. Is that something you consciously think about, or not?
Well, thanks for all that, man.
It's a long question.
I don't know. I don't think I'm consciously. There was one part, one time, that I won't name, but it wasn't this one. It wasn't any of the ones that you mentioned where I had a moment where I met I got to talk to the real guy, and it didn't go well.
Really?
And I did have a conscious moment where I had to sort of take a step back and pretend like that conversation didn't happen. But typically,
so was it difficult to not judge that character at that point?
Yeah, because I had meant the source. But you know, this is fiction. All the parts of fiction too, so that makes it a little easier. But I think, you know, I don't know what it's like for you, but the early phases when you're preparing for something and you're just reading the script a bunch, to me it just feels like I'm kind of circling it over and over again, trying to find my way in that is the most exciting to me, that stirs up the most within me, that feels like it's going to give me enough to sort of take me through the entirety of the story. And I mean, with all of those characters that you mentioned, I feel like, you know, everyone, all of us, aside from characters in films, we're the center of our own movie.
Yeah.
And the story we're telling ourselves, the story everyone else is seeing, it can be very, very different. And so that's the goal, is to try and get to the root of what that story is that they're telling themselves. And with Teddy, it just became really obvious that in his mind, I mean, he is the hero of humanity.
Yeah.
There's no other scenario.
Yeah. He's saving the world.
Yeah. Him and only him. He's done his research and it's the only option.
Yeah.
Well,
because Teddy has because that's part of what, that you're not judging is his line of logic and his research that he's done. It's wild. I mean, it ends up being 100% so we really shouldn't judge him for it. But do you, I mean, this being the anniversary of January 6th, you know, again, it's January 6th. Did you approach it, because we're living in a world now where, you know, there are silos of information and people believe what they believe and they're in their own echo chambers. Did you kind of dive into one world or another when kind of trying to find Teddy's line of logic?
Yeah, that's all part of that circling it,
Yeah.
part of the process in the beginning. And you know, every part I do, that's kind of the most fun, where you just feel like it's way over here, and you don't know how you're going to get there, and you do this where you understand it and believe it.
Yeah.
You know, I knew one of the most important aspects of playing Teddy was going to be just believing these words and theories that they came out of my mouth, because, you know, upon the first read, yeah, if there was any judgment, it's just like, what? Yeah, what is he talking about?
It's so hyper specific, and it, coming out of your mouth, it sounds so logical. It's like, oh yeah, well of course, this all needs to happen right away. And it's also, so what I found super interesting too is, as you and Michelle, Emma Stone's character, who's incredible, Emma Stone. As your relationship kind of starts to develop, you're so skeptical of everything she says, but then there are certain things that you believe, particularly towards the end. How did you kind of find that? How did the logic of Teddy's world find its way into a situation where he's going to believe what she says?
One of the things I remember thinking about early on was fans. Like, this sort of double-edged sword in like King of Comedy. He's so obsessed with Jerry, and at the same time there was this part of him that like hated what it stirred up in him and how kind of complicated that had to be. And so I don't know how much it comes across, but I think there were, in my mind, you know, this is his life's obsession. And yes, she is the sort of target for all of his hatred and rage. But at the same time, it's like meeting a celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, you get dressed up for her.
Yeah. And this doesn't happen every day, right? So it's also this like childlike, well, she's here. You know?
Yeah, it's palpable. You guys get pretty flustered the first time you're actually face to face with her in your suits, in your dad's suits. Now, that brings me to Aiden, who's just extraordinary in this role. What was that like? It's a 3-person movie essentially. Did you guys work together for a while beforehand? Did you rehearse? Did you get to spend time in that house? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I remember, well, Yorgos had told me that, you know, he had this idea for Don. It was not written as a virgin character, but he had this instinct to hire a non-professional actor, and the great cast director Jennifer Vendetti went on the hunt, and I think Aiden was one of the first tapes that he got, and he he sent it to me and Emily, and that's obviously done.
So you knew right away.
We all did, and then I think he continued to look, because it's like, well, that's crazy that we were finding so quick.
Yeah.
And then we were doing a camera test, testing out this vision camera for 5 months before we started shooting or something. And he came by and we met him for the first time, and we were all so nervous. And he was just, what are you doing?
Like what was everyone's so nervous?
Yeah. And I don't know, immediately I was just taken by how, at that point, he was 18 years old. He was so self-assured, and I very quickly realized, okay, well, really the name of the game is just to really say what you mean and choose your words wisely, and because if you don't, he will let you know that what you're saying doesn't make any sense. You know? And I was like, we immediately hit it off, and we did a little chemistry read to kind of see how he would handle some of the more intense scenes.
Yeah.
And that went really well. And then it was just kind of us hanging out, and sometimes you just get lucky, and for whatever reason, I just immediately hit it off, and he felt like my cousin.
It really is a beautiful relationship to watch, but at the same time, it's hard not to feel badly for him, because Teddy really is taking advantage of him.
Yeah.
And Teddy has an answer for everything. And it feels more and more like he is doing this for you more than anything. Do you agree with that?
I do. I just had dinner with Elaine Hall. Is she back there? Elaine was Aiden's teacher, coach,
Fantastic.
Special needs actors is incredible, but she was truly invaluable throughout the whole process. But we were just saying that since the movie has aired and done some press, I keep every time I talk to Aiden, he's got like a new kind of theory or a new perspective that he wants to share, and he's still kind of mulling it all over in his head. And we were doing press in London, and he said something like, I think Teddy loved Don, but he didn't respect him. Man, I think you're right, Aiden.
That's a real bummer, I think.
I think he's right. And then I told him, from my perspective, considering Teddy's life, the way I saw it was this cause, this mission, gave Teddy some sense of power.
Yes.
And protection in his mind. I mean, he's doing very drastic things to protect him from painful experiences. And I think, again, the stories we all tell ourselves, in Teddy's mind, this was trying to give him that same sense of purpose and power to protect him,
That's right.
And, people can do that if they're doing one thing and really doing a lot of harm.
Well, I think, for me anyway, both of them were searching for control. And the one thing about Teddy that you have to respect is he is singularly focused on this, on saving the world. And there is a lot of shit in his life that he's just having to bullet through and ignore. Namely, just an example of one of those things is the police officer and what he's kind of alluding to in the past, and you're just like, forget it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Like, you need to get to this thing, and this thing is the thing that will make all of that other stuff go away. Is that in the realm of that's not a question. I think that what I'm saying is that was so deeply effective that Teddy has made this decision. And I feel like that kind of clicks in for all of us and that part of us that feels completely out of control.
For sure. I mean, I think most actors, part of the task is to find those areas where you can relate and where it overlaps as extreme as the character may be. You know, if you sit long enough and try long enough, most of us can relate in one way or another to each other, but that was something that I really related to strongly, that feeling of, looking at modern times, the world, how, most of us have a real desire to try and affect some kind of change or do something or make some sort of difference and look around and where can I put my energy, this fighting, this feeling of futility, and I don't know if that answers your question.
No, absolutely. And, Teddy, in defense of his theory, it's like, yeah, it sounds pretty absurd, but look around. Like, it's not that much more absurd than everything else that's going on. So I totally got him. I was like right there with him. No, but there's some part. Not all of it. Come on. No, but that's how much I kind of felt what you were doing. And so did the three of you, was there room for you guys to improvise? I don't know how it is with Yorgos, if there's a lot, if it's kind of loose like that, or how does that work on this set?
Yeah, there was some. Yorgos does create an environment that, is pretty open, and on this one in particular, we seem to do a lot of takes. And that sequence in the beginning with Don and Teddy sort of prepping, their workouts and all that. A lot of that was improvised, and then I think the best improvised line came from Aiden as Don during the dinner scene. He interjected with, "Can I use the bathroom?"
So good. Like the timing is perfect. It's perfect. That's great. Yeah, it's a fascinating dynamic between the three of you. Something else I noticed is Teddy and Don's story. It's you start piecing it together as the movie goes on, and I feel like I would love to go back into the movie and really examine the set, because I feel like there's a lot more to their story in the set and the set dressing and the props laying around that house. Am I right about that?
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before this, and I told Adam that the entire set, the entire house, basement, house, all of it was built from scratch, all practical, didn't exist, and then we walked in, and it was, been there for however many years now. And so, yeah, as an actor, just spending time in a place like that, where all these brilliant artists have told their own interpretation of the story. In between takes, I would just look around.
Yeah.
Hang out with Don in the house.
That's great. Yeah. A great set really does a lot of work.
Yeah.
For you.
And weird little things that probably never made it into the movie, where you would see some set designer just like placing props in just like really absurd and strange ways, So yeah, all of that goes a long way when you look around and you see how much everyone is investing in especially in something that is kind of out there, you know, and bringing so much of themselves and their perspective on.
I still get, the hair on the back of my neck stands up when I walk onto a set, whether it's a house that's been dressed or something created out of whole cloth like this house, and just knowing that this has been created by people, it's because it's right there and it looks real, but it's not. Someone made this, and it's just still that kind of leap into movie world is still just so, there's like a magic to it.
It makes you, when it's good, it makes you feel like a little kid.
Totally.
They did it, huh?
Totally. They shot Lost Boys in the town I grew up in Santa Cruz, and I got to go on the set when I was like 12, and I got to see a set for the first time, and it blew my mind. And I think I still get that exact feeling every time. You said that they built that entire house, including the basement. So when you're running from outside into the house, you were able to actually do that. That really helps, rather than doing the exteriors and then 3 months later running into the, which is usually what you end up doing.
There was still some of that. I mean, there was a sequence after Don dies, up until we head back to the office, which is like 10 pages of the script. It's like the craziest stakes, that there were multiple locations. And, so that was really, but all of the stuff at the house we were able to shoot at once.
Yeah, it's great. And you and your mom, Lucy Silverstone, who was
Hold
also.
on, we're still filming this, so I just said Don died, so now what? Everyone's gonna see it, they've already seen it.
Oh yeah, no spoilers. Everybody that's filming this on their phone, just cut that part out. It's a spoiler-free zone.
Sorry, go ahead.
You and Lucy Silverstone and your mom were incredible together. That scene where you are putting the not antifreeze into her, that is just heartbreaking, because you see a son saving his mom. That is what you think you finally have the magic formula. What was it, for lack of a better question, what was it like filming that scene? Because the whole thing, in a way, is built into this moment.
Yeah.
She presents you with this solution. It's not like you know that this is coming, but when she presents it, Teddy is like, oh my God, yes, and just immediately goes and does it. So this is the answer to everything Teddy's done.
Yeah, I was doing an interview way back at the beginning of all this, and some journalist sort of like kind of baiting me with an answer. She's like, he's really smart, but he's kind of dumb. And then, you don't have the question, you just have my answer. It's like, yeah, I guess he is kind of dumb, which I don't believe. What was so heartbreaking about that is okay, maybe misguided or whatever you want to say, or lost. He's lost, but I think he's very intelligent in a self-made way. He went out and, found the information in himself. But,
his own research.
But what's so heartbreaking is, he knows. There's a part of him that knows how ridiculous that is. I think that this magic serum would be an antifreeze container, but his wish for it to be true is so much stronger that it just completely took over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was yourself a weird day.
Yeah. I agree. I think Teddy's hyper intelligent, and which is part of the tragedy of it.
Which I personally know a lot of extremely intelligent people that have gotten lost,
100%. Yeah, and there's a sort of the kind of where the movie ends up going, and there's, I guess, a debate about whether the film is ultimately optimistic or not. I mean, I'm
let's do a round of applause. Optimistic? Wow!
Really? I'm as nihilistic as the best of them, and I was like, holy shit. I don't need the opposite of optimistic. Do you have a personal take on the ending of the film?
I mean, I just think that song with those images, it's so, I don't even know how to articulate the effect that has. I've never really experienced anything like that.
No, and it just keeps going.
Yeah.
More and more.
I think maybe the optimism for me comes in the fact that of what the film is trying. It's not like I think the thing that I love about this movie and the script is that I feel like it really does a sort of magic trick of not preaching whatsoever about what the audience should take away. But it, in my mind, really does hold the mirror up. It's sort of these extremes of these types of relationship disputes that we have all fallen prey to. And I think at the end of it, they're left having to work together in some way. And I don't know why, but there is something hopeful to me, but I don't know how I can. I mean, it's not only that, it is very bleak too, but there is something hopeful in it that I can't quite explain.
Well, they did find common ground, the two of them. And there was a period of time when they were being honest with each other.
Yeah.
They found that place. And I think that you mentioned King of Comedy, all the best performances have these contradictions, and King of Comedy is a great example, but also Teddy is a great example, because Teddy, along with everything that you've been saying about him, he's also self-aware. He's not in a haze of this kind of, it's like this conspiracy, this cloud of conspiracy. He's able to recognize how he's perceived in the world, and he's moving through the world in his own way. And you said magic trick. I think the movie is certainly a magic trick, but so is your performance. It's just extraordinary. So.